Hi guys, I'm Matt, I'm the founder of Men Walk Talk, and I'm here today to talk with David Tagg, one of our ambassadors. He's an actor and you might recognise him from Hollyoaks. We're just here to talk about all things men and mental health and what Men Walk Talk means to both of us. So, kind of to kick it off, do you want to talk about what inspired you to join us on
Yeah,
Men
sure.
Walk Talk?
So I heard about your charity, and I thought what an amazing thing to be able to push out there. Myself, I've had experience with mental health. I have several friends that have struggled with mental health and still are. And it's just such a taboo subject to kind of like to approach men and for them to be able to talk about it openly. And I just thought this would just be a great platform, a public platform for people to maybe open up a little bit. And I thought this was the perfect way to do it, and you were the perfect guy for it to go through.
Yeah, awesome. And we want to basically have more groups across the UK, and we want to end that stigma. So we want to share the message. We want to have people like you that share the message even louder. We want people to join us on social media and hashtag Men Walk Talk and sharing how important it is for men to talk. And I just wondered for you, is there any sort of kind of experience personally or friends and family that you might have about men in your life that might not have opened up, or it might not have been quite obvious they were
Yeah,
struggling?
absolutely. I mean, I've got a couple of friends from last year, one of them during lockdown, and they were both very similar characters in that they were like quite very outgoing, quite bubbly, like always there to please, always looking very happy, but they committed suicide, both of them. And this was like unbeknownst to like their family, their friends, anybody. It just randomly came out of the blue. And I was thinking to myself, why has this happened? Like, why have they never not talked to anybody? Why have they not approached the subject? Because you would honestly never have even known. And you think there must have been, to get to that stage, there must have been so much pain inside them. And I want to try and make it, because I believe like on my platform, and I feel like I'm called like an alpha male on the show. I'm an alpha male on my Instagram. I have a nice life, I have a good life, and even I suffer with mental health. And I want to show people that it's okay to talk to people about it. And I don't want things like that, especially close friends or anybody. I don't want anything like that to happen to anybody ever again without at least us trying to fix it first. Because it's just such a tragedy for it to happen to anybody's lives, and it's just so sad that some people are scared to talk about it.
And there's so many places out there that guys can go to. Like Samaritans is a massive charity, and it's just dialing 116 123, and someone will be there to listen to you. But for Men Walk Talk, we just want guys to know that there is a space in their community they can just walk and talk freely with a volunteer that is trained in mental health first aid to kind of deal with kind of the stuff that bubbles, the stuff that we all have going on in our life. We all get stressed, and we all have different ways of dealing with that. And actually, that's what we want from Men Walk Talk. We want more groups. We want more guys to know about us. And hopefully, even just by following us on Instagram, people see a post about actually it's okay to not be okay. And that message, even though it's quite cliche now, it's just standard. It's true, and we're hopefully all getting that message to share that with other people. But then, what do we do when we're not okay? It's sharing that. Can you just reach out to someone? And I guess for you, kind of, what's the one thing you do if you're having a bit of a wobble with your mental health or something?
To be honest, for me, it's training. It's working out. It's getting outside. And luckily, I do have very good friends, so I can open up to them. My mum is a massive influence in my life. So if I've ever got any issues with anything, she's always there just to listen. And I think that's the one thing that kind of really, really helps me, is just someone that you can just vent, and they will just, and you know that they're genuinely listening. And that's kind of like what the beauty of this is. I mean, and I go for some runs sometimes with some lads as well, and we don't necessarily talk about anything too deep, but it's just very nice just to kind of have a little bit of a vent. And normally in these kind of positions, like if you go for a run, if you work out with someone, if you go for a walk with a bunch of lads, you're normally very like-minded people. You're all thinking along the same lines, so you know that you're in a safe place. You know that if you to one person, you may think that talking about your emotions might be a weakness, which is so wrong to think that way. But if you do think that way, then at least you're in this group of people that all think the same, and you know that you can trust and you can rely, and you're safe, basically. Yeah. And hopefully then that will then encourage more and more people to open up in any environment. It doesn't just have to be within that circle. It could be with other people, other close friends, so you can break that stigma, basically.
Yeah. Even if it's just a starting point and someone just comes along, shares what's going on in their life, finds out they're not on their own with that problem.
Absolutely.
And then they've got the courage and the strength to talk to other people. And one of the things that actually we love about Men Walk Talk is I've heard it in more groups and training that I've done actually as a professional, and actually it's just one thing that is, don't talk about me without me. And for that, it just means that space is completely safe for you. And we want you to know, if you're watching, we want you to know if you're joining us on a walk, that our spaces are private and they are for the guys to be open and transparent. And I think would that be something that helps you as well if you're in a group of guys, that you know it's not something that's being shared with more people?
Yeah, definitely. Because as well, I think there's some problems and that's the thing where a lot of people probably don't reach out, because they might think that these problems are minuscule and maybe they don't matter they don't think that their problems are big enough to matter. Or they might be strange to in your head, or you might be embarrassed or anything like that. So it's good that, like you say, you're with these kind of like-minded people. So even the smallest little problem or the biggest problem, which you might be embarrassed to tell somebody, you know that if you're in a place where no one's going to share that information, then why not spill everything, just let it all out, and hopefully things will work out. That's all you can do, I suppose.
Definitely. So David, we really appreciate you kind of being on board as an ambassador, and we really value the time and the effort that you put into helping us spread that word like far and wide. What are your kind of best hopes from being an ambassador yourself? Have you got any personal goals?
Well, yes. I mean, I want this to be something that's ongoing, obviously, and I want other people to maybe join me in this as well. So I'm quite privileged in the sense that I have a large following, so my voice can spread further than others. And I think something, especially at the moment, considering we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's a lockdown, I think it's so important that we get this out there and make it okay for men to speak more about their mental health and let people know if they're struggling, because it's a disease and it's really dangerous. And I think people make the mistake of thinking that being silent is being strong, and that is not the case whatsoever. If anything, it's the opposite. I think if you can speak your truth and speak your problems, then that is being strong in itself. And I think that's so important. And that's ultimately what I would like to achieve out of this.
Awesome. So as a follower of your Instagram kind of platform, what should I do if I see a post that you shared about Men Walk Talk?
So follow Men Walk Talk for a start. You'll be able to see all of their walks and all their Zoom calls and all their meetings that they're going to do that are currently happening at the moment and possibly in the future. So anything that I put on, it should link to all of their platforms, and then you can see where you need to be and who you need to speak to and everything like that.
And all that information is on our website and kind of Instagram and everything. So that's there for you to find. I think like being silent isn't being strong is it's quite a choking image. And I've seen we've got a good image actually of a guy with a sellotape mouth, like tape over his mouth. And it's shocking that most guys out there are probably staying silent. They're not talking, they're not opening up. What's one piece of advice that you could support someone to open up, if you would just have one thing they could do?
So to all the guys out there, what I would say is don't be silent, because it's not strong. Speak to somebody that you trust. Reach out to somebody like me, or reach out to somebody like Matt on at Men Walk Talk, because I know you may not know us, but we do care and people do listen, and your word will get to somebody that can help you possibly. So just don't be silent, because that is literally the worst thing that you can do.
And on the website, guys, you can find information for helplines and crisis support contact centres that you can use. So we really want you to know you're not alone. And our tagline for everything is when in doubt, walk it out. Just get outside, get some fresh air, clear that head. And if it's not clear when you're back, contact someone and use that support. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to find out more what we're up to, please join us on our socials at Men Walk Talk.